Sculpture Alliance. It is 1 week until it's due. And so make sure if you are a student thinking about applying, watch this presentation. If it's even after today, this is going to be up on the YouTube channel. Check back in. Is there something that you need to check back about why you're applying or what these jurors are looking for? This is going to be additional information for you as you get your portfolio together. We are part of the online panels committee, myself and Cassidy Fry and Brian Massey. We get to be board members as well as online panel committee members. One of the things that we do for Mid-South Sculpture Alliance is we extend what it is that our network tries to achieve through an online method. And so we're continually trying to create content to be able to share, to advance, and to be able to promote all of the things that our wonderful membership does. As members of the board, we also try to promote all of our work through things like the scholarship. So Cecilia Mosley is with us today, and she's one of the members of the scholarship committee. Yay, Cecilia. Cecilia is also an emerging board member. And so just recently elected is an emerging board member means that they've been more recently out of school and in starting the professional world and has been elected for a 2-year role as a board member. And so Cecilia, thank you for joining the board and being a new member on that.
Yeah, thank you for having me. I'm excited to talk about the scholarship committee today.
Excellent, excellent. And just a note about Cassie Fry, Cassie's also a new board member, a recurring board member, would that be fair to say? Because Cassidy was one of the first emerging board members in the role that Cecilia is now in, and then has continued in her career and is now a full professional board member. And so I warn you, Cecilia, look out. You never know.
They suck you back in.
We do.
You can't get away.
Get away. Well,
I chose this life.
I'm glad you did. I'm so glad you did, Cassidy. Again, all of the things that Mid-South Sculpture Alliance does is it's a group that I'm so proud to be a part of and to be a member of and to continue to serve. One of the things that we serve and we aim for to do is the annual event. And so we have an event each year. It's sometimes a confab, which confab is an actual word. If you didn't know that, I had to look it up in the dictionary. Confab means small, intimate discussion. And so a confab is where we get together for 1 or 2 days. This year, we're going to be getting together in Conway, Arkansas, just north of Little Rock. And we're going to be getting together on October 1st, 2nd, and 3rd of 2026, so of this year. Next year, we're going to be getting together for a conference. So it's a longer event. And so that's going to be in Indianapolis, Indiana in 2027. Dates are almost solidified. So keep tuned for more information, but that's going to be fall of 27. So when we do these each year, we also have the scholarship competition that is focused on those dates. So again, mark your calendars for Confab, October 1st, 2nd, and 3rd of 2026. As MSA celebrates its 20th birthday. This is MSA's 20th birthday this year, so it makes it a special, special year. And so with that, I'm going to focus now more on scholarship. That's my intro information. So on scholarship, Cecilia, would you give us a little bit about the history of what is this scholarship?
Yeah, absolutely. So our scholarships are one of our strongest initiatives in supporting sculpture students in their educational and professional goals. Since 2016, MSA has awarded scholarships to more than 30 sculpture students, which is 10 years, so it's really exciting. But this financial support enables students to produce, transport, exhibit, and discuss their work in professional conferences and confab settings.
Great, thank you. And what's it been like being on that committee, Cecilia, being able to see how it goes together?
Yeah, it's been really good. So again, I'm relatively new to the role, but it's really awesome to see all the things and all the people that are so supportive of encouraging students. And it's amazing to see the students that have received this award, how far they've gone and continue to grow as an artist. So I think the scholarship is really beneficial to kind of any level student, BA, BFA, MFA. It's a really awesome opportunity and also a great way if you are interested in donating and supporting younger artists. This is a great initiative to do that for.
Oh, I like that pitch. Thank you so much for bringing that up because we are also always raising money for this scholarship. And so if you can afford to, definitely donate to make sure that we can do that work that Cecilia was just describing. And Cecilia, who are our jurors this year?
Yeah, so we have Ashley Hope Carlisle and Coulter Fussell. So it's really exciting to have both of these artists as our jurors to get to see not only what our students are producing, but kind of influencing this new generation of artists. So we're really excited to have them.
Excellent. Well, I will share my screen See if this just shows up. Is it showing up for everybody?
Yep.
Excellent. So, as Cecilia just described, one of our two jurors is Ashley Hope Carlisle. Ashley, what is it that we're looking at on the screen?
Hi there. This is actually a show that is at the Fort Collins Art Museum right now. It actually comes down in a week. It's been up since January, and I was curated into an installation art exhibit. So these are cones meant to speak for the environment through women's voices. So there's sound that comes through them, and all of the materials were created and donated or given to me by women in my world. So really excited to have been able to have the opportunity to create that piece. Again, I'm Ashley Hope Carlisle. I'm an artist and professor of sculpture at the University of Wyoming here in Laramie, Wyoming. And I've been here since 2003. I'm originally from New Orleans, Louisiana, but have comfortably made Wyoming my home. My work often moves between traditional sculptural processes. I'm a trained metal fabricator, metal caster, so cast iron, steel, bronze, aluminum, but I also work in a lot of mixed media within my work, so fiber, paper, fabric, found objects, and then work between drawing, pedestal sculpture, as well as contemporary installation approaches. So, alongside my studio practice, I also have a lot of work that involves public art and collaborative projects that connect art, science, and community. I am working on a couple of different large scale public art commissions that I was just awarded, one being for the new Wyoming Girls School in Sheridan, Wyoming. That's a $90,000 public art commission. And then I was just awarded a 40K public art commission for the Denver Botanical Gardens, which is super exciting. So I'll have 2 years to create that. I love putting my work into public spheres, especially those that are not galleries, but actually spaces where you wouldn't expect it to be. Also, a very large part of my teaching focuses on helping students develop both their artistic voice and the professional skills that they need to sustain a life in the arts. So it's really an honor to be a part of reviewing work from emerging artists and sculptors and seeing what the next generation is doing. That's
Thank you
me.
so much, Ashley.
Yeah,
Appreciate it. And I look forward to seeing, I hope I can see these in person. And I didn't realize
hopefully. Yeah.
sound came out of those.
Yeah. Yeah. They each have a voice coming out of them. So the idea being if Mother Earth could speak, what would she say?
Nice, nice.
Yeah.
Oh, I definitely want to see this in person. Thank you, Ashley. And
Yeah.
our next juror is Coulter. Coulter, would you let me know? I'm glad to push forward for you on your presentation.
Okay. Hey y'all, my name is Coulter. I am a textile artist in Water Valley, Mississippi. Water Valley is like a super tiny, small town, 3,400 people in the north half of the state of Mississippi. I have a storefront studio that's open to the public down on Main Street in my town. And all of my supplies are given to me by people in my town. It's all their leftover old thrown away textiles. And I use these textiles to make these sort of sculptural upholsteries now. They didn't start out that way. I started out a quilter. I learned to quilt from my mom. And then over the course of years, I've started to just like add everything they brought into the studio, which sometimes was like, things other than textiles. It was like photographs, stuff you'd find in the pockets of jeans. And so I would add these things. And then I started to use some of the stuff I learned from doll making. I learned how to make dolls from my grandmother. And so I do a lot of that sort of stuff in the work. See, this piece right here has a lot of like stuff that people brought in that's not actually textiles. And so I sort of make these big upholstered sculptural things. And so very recently I've started using people's photography as well. So not only do I collect people's textiles that they bring me, I incorporate photography. And very recently, I've started projecting that photography. So I've got like moving images on my most recent works. In these works, I've printed like screenshots from cell phones and Snapchat from some of the teenagers in our town onto chiffons that are translucent, and then I back layer those with some of these like fabrics that people bring me, and it sort of changes the hues and tints and stuff. And yeah, and you know, I'm doing all this with skills that I learned from quilting and doll making. Those are the only skills I have, and those are the ones I use to make these pieces. You can go to the next one. Yeah, and drapery, you know, like I use drapery, like curtain stuff, like, you know, any sort of like domestic craft textile skill I'm using to sort of add the sculptural elements to these pieces. And you can go to the last slide if you want. And so that one's made off of like an old ironing board somebody dropped off at the studio. I have several old wooden ironing boards. People bring me anything. And so yeah, that's pretty much my work. I've got a show coming up at the Mississippi Museum of Art. Next week it opens. I go Monday to install, and that'll be my first time installing the big projections with the moving images. So there'll be moving images on like fabric and big giant braids that hang down and stuff. Mm-hmm.
Congratulations on that upcoming show.
Thank you.
Quick question. What's the scale of this one? Like, is that hanger actual size hanger?
Yeah, these I've mainly worked really big. I think the smallest piece we showed was probably like 5 feet or something.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, this is about 12 feet wide.
Okay, so like that Nike box is an actual size shoe box.
Yeah, and the patterns came in the Nike. Those are clothing patterns. You know, a lot of old like seamstresses store their clothing patterns in shoe boxes, and they came to me like that. Yeah.
Wow, that changes my view. I for some reason, maybe it's because we're on a screen, I envision these tiny, and now, yeah. So if knowing that like one of the smallest ones of these, like,
yeah, that one's fairly small, but yeah, most everything I make is like 5 or 6 or 7 or 8. Oh, one of those pieces was 10 feet tall. Because I started out as a quilter, so my frame of size reference is bigger than human, you know. So anything smaller than like 4 or 5 feet to me feels very tiny.
Interesting. Well, it's a benefit that you're working with some materials that can move around or lightweight. And
sure.
Yes. Ashley, with thinking of like some of your earlier work with the heavier pieces, is similarly like as your pieces have also like sort of ebb and flow as far as materiality, but thinking about all the ways that both of you make. I'm so glad that you all are this year's jurors. Thank you for being willing to take the time to go through all of the applications. I hope we give you lots and lots of work and make your job really hard. And so everybody who's watching and who watches this later, please get your stuffs ready so that you can be able to share your work with these two wonderful jurors so that they can narrow it down to the top artists who will be then doing this. So Cassidy, when you were the recipient of this scholarship, I just have some images of some past presentations and exhibitions. Can you remember what it was like to be the scholarship recipient? What did it feel like when you got the email? How did you prepare?
Yeah, of course. I remember. It was only 9 years ago and 8 years ago. No. No, I mean, I don't remember when I got the email, but it's always exciting when you get an email that's like, hey, you've received something, you're awarded this. And so the first time I received it was 2016, and that was the second year of the scholarship in general. And at that time, there were just 2 recipients of it. So it was really nice to be one of the 2 selected, and that we had a group exhibition. Well, there was the MSA Select, and then we had our own space off of that show where Stephanie Loggins and I had our work. So it was nice to meet with Stephanie at that time and like install our pieces together. But it was, yeah, I mean, that was my second year of grad school. So it really was helpful in like helping fund that 3rd year of grad school when you're building your thesis. But outside of that, it's more exciting to be part of Confab and like be a presenter So it's great practice to give your artist your like mini version of your artist talk in 15 minutes, which is what you're showing pictures of. So it's nice to share your work with other people who, one, you probably haven't met a lot of them, especially at that time in my career, and then have them come up to you afterwards and interact and ask questions about your work, and then suggest other artists. So it's that great networking, and we all love talking about like sculpture. It's the thing we like, and we're surrounded then by a bunch of people who like the same thing and they want to talk about it. In 2016, it was John Powers, who was also my instructor, was the keynote speaker at the confab. So it was like his opening act. So that was fun. So I gave my little presentation beforehand and then he went on. But 2017, was it? No, it was 17 was the year I received it. Sorry. And then 2008, again, it's 9 years ago. You gotta know. 2018, I was also the recipient, but with that one, we had a lot more people receiving it. We had a large donation that year to MSA. And it was also just like my introduction to MSA. Well, I had been in the student exhibition in 2015, but this was my deeper introduction. But yeah, we had 10 recipients that year. So it was great to, have a lot more of us speaking in Knoxville at the conference, and have a larger show with individual pieces. And, it's a good way to step into this world, and especially for like BFA students, who are looking at grad schools who then get the scholarship. It's a great way at the conference because you get your conference covered and so on, able to attend that. You meet a lot of the people who teach at those schools that you're looking at too. So big networking opportunity. And look where it's got me now. I'm on the board for my second time.
For your second time, as well as I think about your work with being a professor now. And so now you're a professor
Yes.
in Tulsa Community College. And so your career starting off with getting the scholarship, I mean, it didn't start with the scholarship, but early in your career within MSA and within your exhibitions, the scholarship was a formative component. And then now you're on this other end getting to help put these components together. And so I think that's really a wonderful bookend. And maybe some of your students are going to apply.
Yeah, and I've had students apply in the past. So when I was at other colleges, like the College of Worcester and so on, I nominated them. I was their person, and then they were able to apply for it. They didn't get it, but that's okay. It's also just a great experience to apply for it. It's good practice.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Can you talk a little bit more about that? How is that good practice?
So it's good practice because, this is the application materials that we require for the scholarship is very similar to what you're going to be required to do throughout for all applications, for residencies, for internships, for other exhibitions. So it's getting that artist statement written, that bio, getting a headshot, having that ready, 5 to 10 works images, making that image list. So it's building those working documents that you continue to use over and over and over anytime you apply for something. So for students, it's a great practice for them to do that. So
true. So true. Cecilia, would you like to share anything else that you and the committee have thought about when it comes to the eligibility? Like how does one get nominated, or what does that mean? Or do you have to be a member?
Yeah. So I'm just going to read a little bit from PowerPoint in front of us. But again, I wanted to just add, I know Cassidy mentioned that I believe 10 people got the scholarship that year. And I believe that only 6 are getting it this year, just so everyone is aware of that. But artist eligibility, this opportunity is open to nominated students, artists actively enrolled in BA, BFA, and MFA programs who have not previously received this award. Applicants must be nominated by a current MSA member or may self-nominate if they are a member themselves. Each applicant may enter 5 to 10 artworks. All of these entries must have been conceived and created by the artist submitting the artwork. Application for membership can be made when submitting for this exhibition, and this application is free to all applicants. And a reminder that you apply by March 15th. So some key dates and reminders. So again, March 15th is the application deadline. You'll be notified May 1st. And then Confab exhibition dates are August 28th to October 3rd, with Confab happening October 1st through the 3rd in Conway, Arkansas. Just a few reminders for applicants. Review the submission requirements carefully. Use the panel conversation to better understand the juror expectations. Prepare materials early so there's time to revise before the deadline. I know a lot of artists, me included, sometimes we wait till the last minute and then we're emailing and trying to figure out what we need to do. It's better to try to get your application in a few days before, so you have enough time. If there is a question or concern, you're able to email and get an email response back. So just a reminder of that is really helpful.
Thank you so much for explaining that and helping clarify, because I know it can, yeah, you're right. It can, we all have a tendency to put things off possibly. And so by reviewing this information from the panel today, the things online, but also you can email the panel, the committee. You can also email our administrative assistant, Chelsea Mulder. You can also email at the MSA info website. And so if you have any questions, definitely follow up and check, because we will do all we can to help make sure that you have the information you need to apply and get your information out in front of these two wonderful jurors to be as best possibly represented for the opportunity. And as Cecilia mentioned, we have 6 people, and that can be as undergrad or grad. And as Cassidy noted, in the past, it's gone up to 10 because we had a really amazing donation that year. So if you do have a few extra dollars this year, please donate to this cause so we can have more people be able to receive this opportunity. That would be great. And so with that, let's see
I
if
did want to add
go ahead,
one more
please, please,
thing.
please. Yes.
So I know we didn't get to the part where the scholarships will receive. So if you do receive this scholarship, you will get $300 and then a mentorship session with an MSA artist professional. Again, you will get to exhibit your work at Confab 2026 in Conway, Arkansas, and also present your work. I know Cassidy touched on that, but just wanted to make sure that was included in talking about the scholarship.
Yes, there's been some evolved changes over the years. And so the number changes, as one of the elements that has altered is that if one is a past recipient, you can't receive it twice. So we've had a few people receive it more than once, Cassidy being one of those wonderful people, but we recognize we want more people to be able to have that opportunity. Not that we don't want to give people double awards, that they don't deserve it, but we want to make sure that we have as many people as possible that we are recognizing and lifting up. And so that was one component that the board added in the recent years, is that if you've received it before, you can't receive it a second time, and that way we can share the love that much further. And then also a change is the mentorship. So that wasn't something that would happen before, and so we have an opportunity to be able to give. Sometimes we need a little bit more support, and so we team the scholarship recipient up with that mentor that Cecilia was describing. And so those are additional benefits and components that we've been continuing to think about and add. So with that overview of the jurors, of the scholarship, all of these components, questions, a couple of thoughts and questions. When jurors, so Ashley and Coulter, I know this is new. You've juried other things, but as far as the scholarship component is new, what are some things that you all recognize that you're looking for when you're looking through applications like these?
Can go. So when I usually review student work for scholarships and shows like this, I'm not really looking for perfection or the most technically polished piece in the room. What I'm really interested in is evidence of curiosity and commitment to an idea. And I think the strongest work usually shows a pretty clear artistic question or investigation. So I want to feel that the artist is genuinely trying to understand something through their work, whether that's material or form or concept or personal personal experience. And then thoughtful engagement with materials. I love to make work with anything and everything around me, and sculpture is really a material language. And so I'm always excited when I see students who are really paying attention to what their materials are doing and how those materials support their ideas. And then third, I would say risk and growth. So student work that stands out often takes some chances. And so it may not be perfect, but it shows that the artist is pushing beyond what is comfortable or expected.
Yeah, I mean, she said it all. I mean, the curiosity, the risk. And I mean, yeah, that's what I think that's what you look for in any art you're looking at, you know. So, but you know, and also like, and it's hard to, I think, especially when you're younger, but like when you're trying to figure out who you are, is just honesty and sincerity. Like, I think it comes across when you are maybe not being authentic or not being totally sincere. And so if you use like, in any sort of written material, like plain language, just say it how you would say it to somebody, you know, just say it straight, say it like you're talking to your friend, you know, and in terms of like, you know, experimenting with materials, like I had a complete change of medium. I was a painter and a drawer who had grown up around textiles, and then about 10 years ago I totally switched to textiles and started using my skill set there for my stuff. And so the curiosity with like trying new things, you know, sort of willingness to bring in techniques from other art ways into your, you know, and of course, like just not, I love craft references, you know. So if you come from some sort of craft background, I would not put that to the side. That would probably like be at one of the top of my piles, you know. So, but yeah, I mean, Ashley said it. You can't really expand better on what she said. Yeah, we'll be looking for the same things.
That really helps to know. And for those people out there that might make in a way that they might not think that they're eligible because of the type of craft or material that they use, I think both of you described a willingness to be able to really think about and accept what it is that where people are and what they're creating with, but really looking for that why in that statement. Cecilia and Cassidy, you're thinking about your all's experience when you've applied to things like this, when you were first maybe putting together these first applications when you were a student. What were some things that you may have done not so great that you wish you could go back and do differently? Or what were some things that you did really well? Obviously, Cassidy, as a past winner, that you, when you were putting together those portfolios, what is it that you could remember that you would advise people to keep in mind as they put their portfolios together for these two jurors?
Yeah, I have like a little piece of advice that I've always done, is looking at people that have received the award before, and seeing maybe like the different ways that they created work, or what typically the type of work that would have been accepted. So thinking about like, especially like reviewing how the jurors also make work is also something that I personally always look at. Anyone involved with the process, I've always kind of done like a deep dive into. But definitely like photographing your work is really important. So making sure your photographs are high quality and clean, and very professional. I think that's really important, especially with documenting sculpture. But it's really important for applications like this, or any applications in general. So that would be kind of the 2 points that come to mind first for me.
I'd like,
and go ahead.
I'm going to add real quick about photography. And sorry, my screen's getting dark. It's thunderstorming outside and there's no light coming in, so it's getting dark here. But I have applied to a million things, and some of those things occasionally hit, and I get them. And I've used for photography a white wall I painted in my studio and my cell phone. And I don't use a fancy camera. I don't have a fancy camera. I don't pay for a photographer. I can't. But I use, you know, the iPhones are pretty good. They're good enough now. And like you can take the white out of the background computer, or, you know, whatever. And you can do it on your phone. And I think the photography is so important. And we have the tools to do it now without spending a ton of money. So.
Yeah, and when the jurors are looking at it, like you all are just seeing the photos. You're not seeing the actual work. So if the photo is clean and it looks good, it's going to be a lot better. Also, those photos are what we use on the MSA website to represent you, or the ones who are selected. And my photos still there from 9 years ago. So you get representation on the website is another big part of the scholarship. Like you go to the MSA site, your name's there, your photo of your work's there. Yeah, and it sticks around. But as far as when you're applying, you know, you can look at the jurors' work, you can look at, previous winners, but since this is a scholarship we've been doing for 10 years, we have had such a wide breadth of work as well. So if you are looking through the work and you maybe don't feel like your style is that doesn't mean anything. Still apply. Like it never hurts to apply. If you don't apply, then there's no way you're going to get it anyway.
Yeah, and as a juror, I'm not looking for work that is mimicking what I'm speaking about, right? It's more about work that feels connected, and that it's coming from a genuine place, like Coulter was talking about.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
think one thing is with your application materials, make sure they're labeled properly, the image sizes are the correct size. There's a lot of people who don't do that, so things get pushed to the side or booted. Keeping it organized, checking, have somebody look over your bio, your artist statement. Keep those, legible and typo free and so on, and just pay attention to the small details. Also make sure the work you're submitting, I know whenever I submitted images, I had some pieces that weren't able to be shown at the conference. Make sure there is work that can be shown at the conference though, because that's part of it. That's part of the scholarship. So.
At least a couple.
Yeah, I had a couple installation, like larger installations. I know for the second year that I got it, that afterwards ended up in the dumpster. So they were not able to, you can't move everything with you. It's part of it. But I had some images of that, but then I had other work that was able to be transported and taken elsewhere and shown. So consider that whenever you're applying with the pieces or when you're selecting a pieces to apply with.
So true, because yes, that exhibition will be part of the winning experience, and you'll be featured again at Conway, Arkansas for the Confab exhibition alongside we have multiple exhibitions, but this will be a special one that you already know you're going to be in early. So you'll know by May 1st whether or not you'll be in that show, so you can start to plan. That's amazing. But what happens if you are not able to actually go to Confab? Can Cecilia or Cassidy, would you like to respond? Like, what if I win? I get to be a scholarship recipient, and I can send my work, but I can't attend Confab. Maybe an emergency comes up or I can't travel during those dates. What happens then? Do I have to give it up?
No.
Cassidy, you might know this one. Yeah.
So in the past we have, I know we're trying to stray more away from it, but we have done like Zoom lectures. You pop on, you're digitally there, present. And we have also, you can attend Confab that way too. We put all of the panels up for everybody to share a Zoom link. That way we have our digital presence as well as the physical presence typically.
Mm-hmm.
And you can ship your work.
Yes, you can ship your work, or the benefit of our network is sometimes you might have a friend who's going and they can carry it for you. And so sometimes you might be able to find a relay race that could be a part of to get it over to the exhibition or back. The exhibition's all in, including this one, ends at Confab. So if you come to Confab, you could then take your work home with you. So that's a benefit. But if you can't come, yes, we have worked out ways. Like last year, one of the recipients is living in Canada and had moved during the time between graduating and then the Confab. And so they were able to attend virtually, but we've also done versions where somebody recorded. And so if we have to, we would love to, and we prefer to if you can be on site, but don't let that be the reason you don't apply if you're not sure about your attendance, because we'd rather be able to recognize you and have you involved in any way to be able to help, again, lift your work up and your presence. Any last thoughts? Questions for each other? Thoughts about the scholarship?
That's an amazing opportunity. Thank you for providing it, and thank you for asking us to be a part of it.
Well, and with you all being jurors, you can help make sure that all the people in your network, if they hadn't been aware of the scholarship, help make sure that they apply. And for anyone else who might not be, they might already have been graduated, you're already out, make sure that you remind other people about this opportunity. And so I think, yes, it's definitely a good one. The fact that it's money, but like as Cecilia described, it's also mentorship, it's an exhibition, and it's presentation opportunity. So it's a CV builder. So your resume grows by multiple lines with one award.
Yes, definitely. That's another big part of it. Also, don't forget you can, if you're not a student, there's the option to donate so other students can receive it. Just,
So true, so true. And then, well, as we're closing, again, thank you all so much for your time, for joining today, Cecilia and Cassidy for representing, for Ashley and Coulter for sharing about your experience and your participation. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And for a reminder again, Confab is going to be October 1st through 3rd. Make sure you circle in those dates, highlight it, reserve your time to come and join us. It's going to be a fun time in Arkansas. Also, keep in mind, those of you who are members or thinking about joining, we have multiple exhibitions. Those calls are going to start opening up in May. And so we have multiple indoor exhibitions and an outdoor exhibition that are all going to be on site during Confab as well. And so it's definitely going to be a good time to be able to celebrate each other's work. So keep it all in mind as you think about what your summer and your fall look like. Thank you all so much.
Thanks.
thanks.
Yay.
I ended the stream.
Yay. We made it.